Not, not can hear us, man. What's going on, man? I can't hear it. I got. There you go. There you go. Go ahead. I got you now.
Oh, you got me now? I'm in the game?
Yeah, you in the game, man. You in the game. You in
Oh,
the game. I appreciate it,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, man. Yo, I'm glad you hit me up about this. Like I remember hearing like beginning of the month that end of the month was International Podcast Day. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna do a little something. And then I just like completely forgot until like this morning. Someone else like popped in with their clubhouse room. Someone did this, and you're like, yo, let's do it tonight. I'm like, okay, perfect. 'Cause I ain't playing anything.
well, before we get started, man, and jumping into whoever is listening, whether you're listening to this live or on the replay, we are. I don't even have our names down, man. That's how impromptu this is. I don't even have our names. I got to go and set our names up in here in a second. But I am Steve Worthy, and he is.
Walter Gainer the second.
And we are podcasters, and what we wanted to do tonight was to do a impromptu live stream for International Podcast Day. And so we are here chatting, just connecting tonight, talking a little bit about podcasting, a little bit about our journey, and probably why it's extremely important to us. And we felt that it was important for us to stop whatever it is that we're doing right now and kind of hop on here. So we don't. If there's anybody that's listening, Walter, if you have anybody that's going to be in your community or anything like that, go ahead and let them know if they're a podcaster, they want to jump in. We can go ahead and do that as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, shout out to anyone who is tuning in for the Working While Black community. I know I literally just told y'all about it, but feel free to come through. This is like a cool moment, like International Podcast Day, because like I feel like for a lot of people, they're still like, "What is a podcast?" So you're out here putting things out, trying to get people to listen. Like, what are you talking about? So it's just really good, to just celebrate everything that comes with it, and hopefully, bring some more awareness to it from other people. It'll just like, what is it? Radio? Is it YouTube? Like, no,
Yeah.
it's podcast. So,
Exactly. Go to talk amongst yourself for a second, man. While I'm setting something up here, and I'm doing this on the fly. That's why I like doing live streams, because you can do stuff on the fly, and
right,
it's
you can change it all up.
you can change it all up with Ecamm.
That's usually
And
the fear, though, of
yeah,
like doing it live stream. It's like, oh man, it's not ready, but it's kind of cool because like it's almost like as the listener, oh yeah, see, you like out here getting like treats along the way, like adding things new. You could see the mess ups, the mistakes, all that stuff.
Exactly.
But
So boom. So now they can see we
boom,
got names up
here
there.
we are. Here we are.
We got names up there, man. Yeah, I literally like threw this together, and I already had the uh the podcast, international podcast thing, and I just like, I'm just gonna put it on here, and I just copied the colors from it and everything. Then I was like, well, and I put it on Restream because I was like, well, let me just go and put it on Restream. We're gonna be on YouTube and maybe the and Facebook or whatever. Now I feel
Hmm.
like I feel like we should just go ahead and pop into the Facebook group, but we already started on YouTube. But it is what it is.
Hey, we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna roll with it. But yeah. So how do you want to start it off?
Man, you know what? I mean, I think at the end of the day, right? I think
Oh, we got someone actually just trying to join right now.
they're trying to join the
Yeah, they just messaged me for my group. Her name's Scorpion.
oh, she's
If
trying to
you're
join
watching,
the
Scorpion, shout out. Yeah,
she's trying to join the actual come on.
something. She's trying to join something. Yeah, but she's a person who I met.
She's trying to do something. She's
It's
trying to do something.
the restream link that I posted in my group.
Oh, okay. So she's probably looking at it on your feed. So that
Well,
restream piece.
it's I'll be honest, I don't think the feed's actually like the live showing up in the group, but
Oh, okay. So does she want to join? Does she want to join in the actual live stream?
let me
Yeah, look, go ahead, man.
I
You
think so.
listen to
Yeah, yeah, I
listen
think so.
to. Oh, does she?
Yeah, your call. I can send the other link.
No, go ahead and send her. Yes, go ahead and send her your link. The one that I sent you.
Cool.
To come on, and I'm gonna while you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this again, and then I'm gonna add. I think I can add a camera. I'm gonna add a camera in here, and whoever it is that may join us. There it is. There it is. And then when she comes on board, we can get her name up in there.
Yeah. Yo, so restream. Well, I'm out here asking different questions, but yo, so restream is just like an add-on to Ecamm Live and everything, or is it
Well,
like
it
its own
helps
separate?
you. It helps you distribute your live stream to like all the different platforms at once. So instead of you have, so it's like a almost like a distribution center for your
Mm-hmm.
live stream, and so it just allows you to actually go in and push it out to each one of these platforms. The other thing is that each one of these platforms they also we got a comment over here, and I just want to put it up here.
Oh yeah.
Just want to put it up here. Was that
Oh, this is
can't stay
hilarious.
long, but wanted to say hello. Podcasts, yes, no one likes podcasting. What are you talking about? Everybody loves podcasting, man. That's wrong.
Oh, oh,
That's wrong. That's wrong.
yo,
How did I get you in there? Everybody loves podcasting. What is he
that's
talking
funny.
about? I know, right? He's what are you talking about? You got one of the dopest names for your podcast, Mr.
Right.
Never
Scope
call,
audio.
no, not that, but it's just his
Oh, don't
actual
call me again.
never call me again.
Never call me
Yeah.
again. Oh yeah, I've heard about your show. Yo, yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to you. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, you should podcast. You should podcast, man.
You should try it out. You might
Well,
like it.
he actually
No,
has
I'm playing.
some episodes, man. He
Yeah,
should get
yeah.
on.
I've heard you speak about this podcast a bunch of times.
Yeah, man. Nah, got some good stuff. He just, he's just throwing some shade. That's all right. That's all right,
Yeah,
Robert. That's all right, Robert. Is she coming on board?
it should be.
Want to check? Yeah, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
all good.
Let me call real quick.
Like I said, yeah, this is dude, this is super impromptu, and there are no rules. There are no rules. Robert, even if you got your camera set up, man, I know you are a podcaster, dude, and I know you're busy. You say you can't stay long. I apologize. That's right, you can't stay long. But if you could, I would have loved for you to be on here. This is just super impromptu. We are just hanging out, and that's it. So you guys look and sound great this evening. Would love to join you, but I have to run. Have a great night, and I will watch the replay. Already left a thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And you are subscribed too, right? I appreciate that. Hopefully you're subscribed. I suck at that part, man. Of you know, asking people to subscribe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To like the YouTube piece. Like I realized
Mhm.
that last night when I had Alicia on, and I just it wasn't bad. It wasn't, I mean, it was a dope show. I mean, the bad part was me not asking for people to subscribe, that portion. That's what I'm talking
Gotcha.
about.
Like real time during the live.
Yeah, real time doing a live. We talked about the shirts and we did that, and we got a few orders,
Nice.
which is really cool, man. So just
Yeah, these
trying to,
shirts are nice. Got my
yeah, dude,
wait, what you put it
yeah,
though?
the
Authenticity is no
authentic,
competition.
man.
Love that one.
Listen
I
to
love
me.
that one.
That
That's
is
key
the
for podcasting too. That's really is key for
It
podcasting.
is. It is.
Yeah.
It is, right? Because like I mean, you know how that goes, man. It's a
All right, because you could talk about like the same exact thing as one other podcast. Everything could be completely the same, but it's going to come out differently just because, like, well, as long as you're like leaning into what's true to you.
correct.
But yeah, it's like you don't
Correct.
have to worry about what everyone else is doing because you're still straight.
No, I completely agree, man. And I think that was you know, so when before, while she's trying to we get her sorted and get her on here. Why don't you go ahead and just tell everybody, whether it's live or in a replay.
Oh, hold on a second.
Is she calling you?
She's calling me. Yeah, you might hear it.
That's what I
Hold on.
heard. That's what I heard. That is all right, man. That is all right. And I'm gonna put some music on. I like music in the background when we rock and roll for this. That's what we're gonna do too. We're gonna put a little music on in the background. I'm not gonna I'll keep it low. So good. This we just got a good little vibe going on. That's it. D Nice said, like, we'll let it breathe. Let it breathe. Is she good?
I'm trying to call back. I like just missed it by a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, hold up. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If she comes through, she comes through. But
Yeah,
we
man.
can
Well,
keep it moving.
tell everybody a little bit about your journey, man. And because I always thought it was cool, man. I think people come in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, man. And it was I don't know. It was the timing was perfect for you and I to connect like we did last
Mhm.
year. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But go ahead and talk a little bit about your journey, man.
Yeah. So my journey. Oh, sorry. Just touch base. What's up, Scorpion? Yeah. Technical difficulties, of course. That's another part of podcasting, and definitely talk about that too, about my journey, because that's like part of the whole hindrance. So,
Is she good to
like,
go?
I think so. I think so. But
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll
trying to
get
get
her in here
access.
if she chimes in here.
But yeah, my journey's been interesting. So I started it because I was searching for answers.
Mm,
Um, I was just graduated from college and was starting getting like people, my whole life gotten praised for my locks. I've tried different things with them,
whatever.
but when I was getting close to graduated, people
Nobody
are
cares
like,
about your
"Hey,
locks. Nobody cares about
hey,
your
man."
locks.
I, I, my locks are interesting because like they would start conversations for me. When I went out to China, it was really cool because I didn't really speak much language, but there was a lot of pointing and stuff, and like kind of created like some relationships just from like them noticing my hair and be like, "Oh, what's going on? What's
Yeah,
happening over there?"
that's good. That's good. That's good.
um, but yeah, so when I was getting ready to graduate, then people started basically coming to him like, hey, if you really want to graduate, get a great job, grow in your career, you got great potential, but you might want to cut your locks.
Mm,
And I was basically like, I hear you, I do understand, but that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I didn't really know how to do both, how to continue to keep my hair and be true to who I am, continue to be authentic,
yeah.
but also still get a job in environments where people legally can dismiss you,
Mm,
or not hire you because they don't like your hair. So my podcast journey started because I was just trying to figure out how I could get a job and have my locks. And it really took a long time. Like I mentioned, I started in 2016, 2017, but didn't launch until last year during the pandemic because not only was I growing as a podcaster, there's also a lot of confidence and imposter syndrome I was overcoming, not being sure if I should be the one to do all of this. But, when the pandemic happened, it kind of stripped all a lot of things were taken away, and so I was just kind of sitting there with myself, and so I was like, all right, I guess it's time. I got interviews already, got people interested, people have been asking about it, so it's time to drop. So I dropped the first episode, told nobody, mentioned it to my mom. I said, don't tell anyone yet. She's like, okay. Next thing I know, I'm getting texts from family friends like, oh, just listen to the trailer, it's so good. And I was like, oh, mom, oh, come on. But thank you, mom, I appreciate it. So that kind of motivated me to continue to drop more episodes. So yeah, that's like kind of my start to podcasting.
nice, nice. Keep it going, man. Keep it going, man. I'm in my Facebook group trying to do some stuff, man, and just
All
to
right, yeah,
get everybody sorted. See if somebody they want to come on over to what's this thing called,
nice.
YouTube. But go ahead, man.
Right.
Keep it going, man. Keep it going. Ain't no rules tonight.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So it's been a really interesting journey because you when you start something, at least for me, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? You don't really know how it's going to go, how people are going to respond, react, how it's going to affect your life as well, because I was also worried. And every now and then I still kind of question, like, how is it going to impact like my career? Because
Mm,
this whole show started around me wanting to get a job. I got a job, but around the time I launched it, I was like in between these freelancing job and a few other contracts, but the pandemic kind of flipped it all around. So there's a lot of questions like, okay, how are these type of conversations going to um, change how people perceive me and what I'm doing? Because when you're talking about things such as like racial equity, hair discrimination,
mm,
white fragility, all those things, there's a lot of people are going to feel some type of way, which they have every right to, but wasn't sure how they were going to react to what I'm putting out. So it's been like an interesting kind of balancing act. A lot of questions, a lot of checking the temperature, like internally, like what's most important to me right now. Do I need to
mm.
necessarily have this type of conversation about this topic, or can I wait for that and just continue in this route as well? So every day is a new thought, new decision, new journey. But I'm really glad I started the podcast because it's been kind of freeing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think for you, man. I mean, just being able to see your growth and your maturation over the last, I mean, just 6 to 8 months, as well. I think we're probably coming up on, I think we it's like we're in a relationship. I think we're coming up on a year. um
It's almost our anniversary.
it's almost there.
You give me anything?
Yeah, what's that? What was that Tony song? It's our anniversary. Anyway, but just to see your maturation, man, has been pretty epic, man. And when you started your journey, did you think that you would be where you are right now with your podcast?
um, that's a good question, actually, because I figured I would be where I am, and not so soon. And it
Mm,
kind of
mm.
it
Why
kind of
not
tripped me up.
why not so soon, man?
Well, this is actually interesting that I'm working on creating some content around it now. Um, it's like when you say like that 10,000 hours type of thing, you got to put in your
Yeah.
10,000 hours in order to get places. But for me, things happened before the 10,000. I'm nowhere close to the 10,000 hours, and things started happening. And I think that I didn't, put the plans in place to accommodate the quick growth. And it's
Mm,
not necessarily numbers based, but um, it's just like, the relationships you start to have, the people you meet, and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. It's I think it really speaks to like you really have to be ready for the growth. We all really do want that overnight success, but how ready are you for that type of success?
exactly.
And yeah, I don't even say that to be like you shouldn't want overnight success. It's more so like you should be able to handle the amount of success that's coming towards you. Because even if you don't make the moves to get that, what you're looking for, if you're like, okay, I'll go after that next month, it may come to you tomorrow. Like you never really know.
It's interesting that what's going on, JP? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you here tonight. I appreciate you being here, man, as well, Mr. JP
Oh,
High
what's up,
Tech.
JP? Yo,
He's in
shout
the
out to JP, man. He's someone who like I think in regards to growth, right? So like
yeah,
when you're growing, you're kind of using all the tools and knowledge you have available to you, and that's what was doing, and it worked well. But when I spoke to JP, I realized like, yo, I'm doing well, but there's a whole other arena, and I could continue going about it the way I'm doing it and get to it, but like to really get to that arena, it's like you got to
mm.
like level a lot of things up, man. It's really interesting. It really blew my mind, but also I think that like that arena, in my mind, it wasn't that accessible in regards to like my experience and growth trajectory, but he kind of showed me that it's really not that far away. It's not
Mm.
like an impossible thing, like you need some like permission to get there. You just got to take these couple steps and everything. So yeah, appreciate you, JP, for that talk and everything. It definitely I think it helped me um maybe understand like the next steps a little bit better. So yeah, definitely.
You just said something, man. You know how you and I do. I always I pick up on little stuff you said, but you just use the word permission, right? And I think about that.
Mhm.
I think about that in the context of what you were talking about with the success for you, and it wasn't overnight, but you weren't ready for it per se, and so I wonder if you are now in the realm or in the process now of giving yourself permission to be successful and to be able to kind of partake in like all the benefits that all of your efforts are actually providing for you right now, because I think the tendency sometimes is that we don't allow that to happen. We sit back and we don't expect sometimes success for us to happen, or maybe success comes to us in a different way, in a different form, and we don't realize it, but that's exactly how it's supposed to be. So are you in a different place right now? Do you feel like you're giving yourself that level of permission to kind of I don't know why this turned into a coaching session.
You can't help it.
I know, right? I
I was
can't
trying to
help it.
pass it off to you to hear about your journey, but yeah, we keep going with
I,
it.
my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, I can't help it, man. I get pulled into it. But anyway, do you feel like you're in a different space now where you can give yourself that level of permission?
Hmm. Um, I'm gonna say yes. It's interesting because I just released an episode a few weeks ago called "Certified Podcast Boy," and obviously, for those who know, Drake launched a certified lover boy, but
Who's
I
Drake?
released it.
Who's Drake?
Oh Lord.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm saying, I'm old, but I'm just messing with you.
Right,
I was
yeah.
messing, I was
For
messing with
those
you.
who don't know, Drake's just some guy from Canada who makes some music
His last
sometimes.
name Licio Way had the nerve to say, and I say nerve because I appreciate Licio. What did he say? He had the nerve to say something about, we were talking about Fat Joe, and like Fat Joe just
Hmm.
came out and said something like, and just kind of made himself relevant again. And he was like, because I didn't had a hat on, right? And he was like, "Do you know who Fat? I'm sorry, do you know who Fat Joe is? I was like, I had to go over here and grab my hat. I was like,
Right.
what? I mean, represent. I mean, the accent sometimes goes and comes, but like, no, like, what? Come on, man. Anyway, but yeah, I know who, who's his name?
Right.
Drake, the Canadian,
Yeah,
dude. I know
he's
who that cat is, man.
yeah, he's been to, like, performed at a few places, award shows and stuff, but yeah, but I released that episode Certified Podcast Boy, and at first it literally was just going to be a joke parody type of thing, but then I just like always find some way to connect meanings and stuff like that, and I was thinking, like, I think where I am right now in this moment, I actually do feel like certified, like I'm supposed to be here. I had the credentials to do what I'm doing and everything. And it's almost like on the other side of imposter syndrome, where
Yeah.
you don't feel worthy, but then you, and there wasn't really any switch. I think it was just a couple things in life that kind of showed, um, almost like a reaction to everything I was doing. So I got a job as a podcast producer. And to get that job, people got to expect you to produce podcasts. So boom, that right there is a symbol that, all right, obviously people like what I'm doing. Then I think just having like all the people I've been meeting just because of my podcast, that was another just kind of symbol like, yo, yeah, your voice is respected. And then I think just like a lot of personal growth as well kind of made me feel like, all right, yeah, I'm ready for all of this. I'm ready for all of that. I think it's just a matter of like putting things in place. Matter of fact, Scorpion November, she's a podcaster. She's doing pretty well. She's collaborating with Afros and Audio. She has like 3 different shows now. Definitely check her out. But Scorpion November, she once asked in one of her regular Clubhouse rooms, like, if someone came to you with the deal of your dreams, it was like, yo, it's yours, but we need you to drop next week. Like whatever you're working on, we need stuff next week, and you have to be like able to produce a whole season if needed. Like, are you able to do that?
Yep.
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
me,
Yeah. Come on, Scorpion.
like,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Yeah.
Me up.
Exactly. Come on, Scorpion.
Yeah.
First of all, Scorpion need to come on in here because I got mad questions about her name. But yeah, go ahead and finish your story. My bad.
Yeah. But nah, she's yeah. So the answer is yes, though. The answer is yes, but it's like not just like a say yes to say yes type of thing, speaking to existence. Really like a what's it called? Anyways, it's one of those questions you just have to sit on and think about. Rhetorical question. Just to really look at yourself, like how ready are you? Right? Like, do you already have like content created? Is it just a matter of like doing little touches? For me, I've got the content created, but I have to go back and process it, fully produce it and everything. But I do have all the tools and resources in place to get it done. So yeah, I do feel ready to hop on that next arena. But how about you, Steve? Because I feel like you're you've had a really interesting year, I think, from like literally launching last year, October, September, August.
It was July, August. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Right?
That's crazy. Yeah, launching. Okay, so that's been over a year for you, but still, I feel like your growth has been like crazy. Just like your presence on like audio, then video. Like you haven't just entered video. I feel like you've like really mastered video and all the tools that you have available. At least from my end.
Man.
But man, yo, what has this growth been like for you?
Yo, I appreciate you asking, man. I think the crazy part has been so a buddy of mine, when we lived in Atlanta, and you know this, lived in Atlanta for 12 years, and Jerry Barron, he and we worked together at the same company, and I was this is my foray into project management, yada yada yada. I was a regional director for business development. He was for sales, and we went to the same church, and we connected, and we were teaching this class at our church about entrepreneurship, how to start a business. And this was back in the day when you could write a business plan, right? Business plan existed back then. And then we worked together on so many deals together with our company, international deals. We got expansion over to the Middle East. We got project managers assigned over in the UK and understood all that. We were over in China, and we had connected and worked on so many deals together. We just had this mutual respect and appreciation for each other. And so I don't know, we went on this retreat that our boss sent us on because we were trying to figure out how to optimize our business without spending any money. Because he challenged us. He was like, "Yo, you need to figure out how to grow a business without spending any money. I'm cutting your marketing budget in half." I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" So anyway, we ended up out of the a byproduct of that was coming up with this idea to help entrepreneur husbands balance the idea of being an entrepreneur, but also being a husband. Because at that time, he was about 20 years into being married. I was only 7. So we had different perspectives. And we started this thing, it was called Blog Talk Radio, which at the end of the day was nothing really but a podcast. This is in 2005. And what we did, we brought on different people. We brought our pastor on who runs he just retired, so to speak, a massive church in Atlanta, Victory World Church, Pastor D. And we brought all these different guys on who were entrepreneurs, and we were just trying to help other husbands. And the name of our company was called For Husbands by Husbands. And I completely bit FUBU. I don't know if you guys are of a certain age. You guys remember FUBU? FUBU, For Us by Us.
No, but yours.
It was For Husbands by Husbands. So it wasn't so much like FUBU, but it was for husbands by husbands. And so I was like, yo, I like it. We digged it. And our concept was a dog house. And it was like, it was like that, that sign, like that no smoking sign, just that little thing. And then just a dog house. And because we wanted husbands to stay out of the dog house. Yeah. And it was dope, man. It was dope, man. We were crushing it. And that was my first foray into podcasting. I did radio in college. I did radio in New York. And I actually had a small stint doing a little bit of radio in Atlanta too, filling in for a couple of people. So I fell in love with the medium. And it was just something that it was just, Scorpion's here. Let me go ahead and get her set up. I'm gonna actually get her set up. She's
okay. I thought she wasn't tuning in. Cool.
No, she's in here.
I just saw the comment from Moni Johnson. Yeah, you catch my mixtape at bosslocksmedia.com. It's for free, only for y'all. So get it now. 24 hours.
Moni, we're gonna get with you in a second. I'm gonna get with you in a second, Moni, because I'm gonna tell Walt the story about Moni's comment. Scorpion, how are you?
Scorpion, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you all? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Great. Let me go ahead. Walter, do you want to go ahead and introduce Scorpion while I make a quick adjustment as well?
Yeah, and also sorry for the wrong link mix-up. But yo, Scorpion, first of all, I'm really glad you're here. Scorpion is someone in the podcasting space who's just like killing it. I feel like it's almost like a underground rapper, like coming up, just doing all the works, hitting all the marks and everything. People counting her out, but she's not done. She's gonna keep going.
Mama said knock you out. I don't know why that just came to mind.
Oh, she's ready. She's ready for that. But yo, Scorpion is not just a podcaster, but a podcast trayer. I don't know, I try to make something up, but she's got 3 podcasts. If It Isn't Love, The Fix, and Smart Mouth Scorpio. So giving you kind of everything you need. Your movie reviews, quick movie reviews too, not wasting your time, in and out. Here's what she thinks, like less than 5 minutes even. She got the If It Isn't Love, which is like really cool. I say experimental just because it's not like your average podcast, but she's really kind of gets really artistic with it. But in regards to I think blending like music and relationships a little. And then Smart Mouth Scorpio is her show to get the full unfiltered, this is what I think about you episode. So yeah, Scorpion, also good friend.
Oh man, there's so many directions I want to go tonight with Scorpion. just with Scorpion alone. What you and I, we're old news because we know each other. But there's so many directions I want to go with Scorpion tonight.
Well, thank you all for having me. Thank you all for the introduction. Thank you, Steve, for allowing me on your platform. I appreciate you all. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to I'm going to continue a little bit of my story. Then I'm going to get to Scorpion as well. But I want to get to this comment by Moni. Which one of y'all is selling the mixtape? Ha ha ha. So I had a live stream last night with Alicia Way on there, and we were talking about the idea with the shirt on, talking about know your worth, and we were talking about the idea of you truly kind of like niching down and mastering your message and who you are, and and Alicio said, it's like you don't want your pilot to be, coming on there and be like, hey, hello, everybody. We'll be taking off going to Atlanta, and the flight's going to be 55 minutes. And just to let you know, I have my mixtape for sale, right? And you want your pilot to major on the majors, right? You don't want him like to be just a pilot and then trying to sell a mixtape. Like, you want him to be able to do exactly what he's called to do. And so Alicio and Moni are also music producers and video directors as well. So it was like a little inside joke, and Moni didn't like it. He didn't like the mixtape thing. I'm just messing with you, man.
Well, Moni, I have no bars, but I'm here for any ad libs you need. I've been studying the Migos and all done, so let me know if you need some. I'll do it for free. I got you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you stopping by, man. This is super impromptu, and whoever stops by, they stop by, and they connect with us. It is what it is. I just Walt convinced me initially. I was like, man, I actually had to record tonight. Well, I was like, man, come on, just do it for a little bit. I was like, we can't do anything for a little bit.
Right, 15 minutes doesn't mean 15.
You literally said 15 minutes, man, and I was just like, we can't do anything for 15 minutes, man. You and I, no, we cannot. So Scorpion, he was having me run through a little bit of my podcast journey, and was talking a little bit about how a buddy of mine and I we started this. It was on Blog Talk Radio. I consider it a podcast. It's not really a podcast. Podcast has, you have to, go with the RSS feed and all that other good stuff. But at the end of the day, that's what we considered it as. And that medium for me just completely captivated me. The ability to be able to, one, tell your story to people, and then also to have people on to tell their story and have their story, resonate with our audience. And I think as podcasters, that's exactly what we try to do. But for me, that journey it stopped in like 2009 initially, and then I got into executive coaching and doing some other stuff, and then I started this business. And the same guy, he said, dude, you need to do a podcast. And I was like, I ain't doing a podcast, man. I'm not doing a podcast. And I'm good. I'm just going to promote it. I'm just going to promote the business another way, whatever. And I said, I know the work that's associated with podcasting. And because I completely, and Walt and I, we've talked ad nauseum about so many different topics, but we both feel podcasting is a craft. It's not just something that you do. It's truly a craft. And I didn't want to disrespect initially. I didn't want to disrespect the craft because I didn't want to put the time in. But he talked me into doing it, so I eventually did it. And what I realized was that while the content was good for my initial podcast, which was called The Worthy Podcast, because I am super unoriginal. My last name is Worthy, and I'm not that guy. I'm not super brilliant. And it all tied into the business that I had, which was Worthy Leadership Group, which was executive coaching for Black and minority leaders. However, I felt while I loved that niche, if you will, I felt there was just something else that I was missing, and I felt my niche was a little bit different. And so over time, I got a podcast coach, and Walt knows this story. I got a podcast coach, and he and I were talking about my career, 20 out of 25 years of my career has been in retail, executive retail roles. And he said, well, hey, why don't you come up with like, 13 episodes, 13 topic episodes, topics for episodes. I was like, okay, fine. And next week, Scorpion, I came back with 40. And at that point in time, there was like, I don't know if I even called Walt, but man, I was like, the skies opened up, and the angels started singing, and the birds started chirping, and I was just like, this is it. This is it. And the initial part, Scorpion, you probably, I don't know if you can relate this or not, but you probably know you deal with some other podcasters, is that context of niching down, because initially you want to try to serve everybody. And I realized that I wasn't serving everybody. While the content was good, my podcast coach and I, we went through each and every one of my episodes. He's like, dude, they were good. The content's really good, but the audience was wrong. And so once I've been able to find the correct audience, man, it just kind of set me ablaze with the podcast, revamped the business. Now we just launched a live stream on LinkedIn every Wednesday at noon, and that's strictly focused on retail leaders at that point in time. And then we do a weekly live stream with other people as well. And so this podcasting thing, man, has done something for me, provided and given me a voice. And not just me. Here's the other thing too. Like, Walt and I, we talk a lot. I think the podcast and the content that we probably put out there, honestly, I realize that it's not for me. It's for other people. And so if I'm able to present it in that context and being able to help like one person, I feel like I've actually kind of done my job. All right, I'm done talking. I'm done talking. I know I'm from New York.
An applause ready. I love that introduction. Like
yeah. I'm from New York. We shut stuff off real quick. So and we move forward because we got a guest in the house. So we got to make it about her tonight. And I want to. I don't have like a separate overlay to just bring you up on board because I'm loving your background. It's so smoky. And like, I feel like you're like in a jazz club, about to sing or something. So Walt provided like this amazing introduction about who you are and all the podcasts and what you do. But Walt knows that I always like to kind of pull through the layers and kind of really figure out kind of like who you are and like what you're going after. So, one, how did you come up? What's your real name? And how did you come up with the name Scorpion? If you don't mind me asking. Or you probably will tell you. I don't need your government name, but you can.
Well, who's to say Scorpion isn't my real name?
That's true. That's so true. That's so true. Is it?
That's my answer.
There we go. I like it. I appreciate that. And tell us about your podcasting journey and everything that's going on for you.
Wow. Well, my podcasting journey was probably like most people's podcasting journey in the sense of when I initially got into podcasting, I got in to fill the void of not hearing my voice and thoughts and opinions and experiences to which I can authentically identify with. When I first started listening to podcasts, I wanted to like, whoa, what is this? Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't find out about podcasts until roughly 5 years ago. Right. And so I was trying to find all the cool podcasts. Right. But then I was trying to identify with the people that I was listening to and I couldn't. I was like, I was getting frustrated. And then I heard a lot of misinformation and things of that nature. So I was like, well, the only way for me to ensure that I hear my voice, right? And thoughts and opinions to which I identify with, right? And to make sure that that accurate information is getting put out is for me to do it. And the audience that I was seeking to serve are people like me that identify with my experiences, right? I'm from Selma, Alabama, right? But I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up in both places. So that's a unique experience in itself. You know what I mean? So there are other people out there like me, other Black women out there like me that want to hear themselves on podcasts, want to say,
Yeah.
oh, that's me. I know her. And so that's what I started. And when I initially started, I started with Smart Mouth Scorpio podcast. I was talking about everything from van dwelling to 90 Day Fiance, right?
That's Walt's
It,
favorite show, actually.
it,
Oh man, I got some thoughts about that show. They're not good. I tell people that's a show to. Never mind. Yeah, that show, like no one's got a good relationship on that show, man.
Oh gosh,
It's
no,
just
they
like
really don't.
no.
No, I'm an OG to that. I was doing reviews on that, and so everything in between, and Black life and Black culture, everything, all of that in between. And so then I was like, that's too much, right? I was like, that's too much for one podcast for me to put all of my interests in one podcast. So then I ventured off into the Fix podcast, where I was getting my 90 Day Fiance fix. So I was like, oh, I'm going to call it the Fix. So it's called the Fix Podcast, where I do recaps, reviews, and things of that nature of television shows and movies. Then I created If It Isn't Love podcast, and I like to call that where love and relationship lessons meet storytelling and music, where I share personal relationship lessons and dating lessons that I've learned, and I collaborate that with music that I love and enjoy. It's named after the New Edition song If It Isn't Love. I love R&B, and so
Walt, do you know that song? Walt, do you know that song?
Oh, my mic's not working.
If it isn't, come on, Walt. Come on, oh Lord, Scorpion. I've given him. I've given him tons of homework on songs and movies, and he you know, just to kind of bring him up to the culture. But he needs some work. But go ahead. I apologize. Go for it.
No worries. I love the song. I love the musical breakdown. So I incorporated that, right? And so the thing with those podcasts is I must say this, I'm an introvert as well, and I'm naturally a private person. So what those podcasts do is give the audience and people a well-rounded view of who I am and things that interest me. So when you put all of those podcasts together, you get a good idea of who I am if you were to listen to them. So
excellent. Well, Mr. James Hicks, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by.
Hey.
James does a lot of great stuff on YouTube, and I had a pleasure. Man, if you free, James, I don't know. He's like you, Scorpion. He has like 3 different live streams though. Like this dude is like, yeah, he's like super busy, man. And there we go. What do you say?
Yes, New Edition Harmony. Yes. Yes.
Man, listen to me. I'm trying so hard not to play it because I don't want to get kicked off. I probably could. But you know, there's
like 20 seconds. What's the time limit?
I don't even know. But
the metric changes so often.
It does.
I wouldn't even try it.
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna try. We're down. We'll be down here in the basement, and the girls. We have 3 girls, and the girls will be. You know, I don't know how it happens. We end up just all being down there. This is really supposed to be my space, but it is what it is. But we'll all be out there. And the girls will be like, you know, they'll start dancing and they'll start doing their things. And I like start, you know, I'll go in on YouTube and I'll go back into the 80s. I'll do my little Rick Carlisle song, like Never Gonna Give You Up. And they're like, oh my gosh, I hate that song. And then, yeah. Scorpion, no.
Everybody in the world knows that song.
Everybody loves that. Everybody knows that song.
This link is not that. It's all
and then I go to New Edition, and you know, and then we start, you know, the wife and I start doing all the dance moves because we know them all, and they're like, oh, how do you guys know them? Oh my gosh, you guys get me sick. This is our girls talking, but that's how it is, Walt. I got to help you with some of that stuff, Walt.
Yeah.
So Scorpio, I thank you for talking about and letting us know about your journey. I appreciate that because I think one of the major things that you know, my takeaway was just around, you know, you not so much just discovering your voice, but you kind of providing a voice for other people out there who didn't have a voice and they wanted to actually kind of hear what you were saying. What do you feel about the state, if you will, of podcasting? And in fact, well, let me start with this question: what in your estimation is a podcast, because I think there's still a lot of people out there that, especially those who don't listen to podcasts, they're not particularly sure what it is. But I wanted to get your answer from an OG.
Well, for me, podcasting is an audio experience for me. That's the way that I look at podcasting. I'm one of those people, like, I initially felt comfortable getting, it's helpful for me to say this too. I initially felt comfortable getting into podcasting because it was just my voice. I didn't want to
Right.
feel like I had to put an image out there, a physical image. So it felt safer to me to do it that way. It's like, okay, let people be introduced to my voice first. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it feels safe. I often compare it to, like, going to school with your parents in the mornings, right? When your parents
Mhm.
used to drive you to school and you're listening to the Tom Joyner morning show or something, and you're
Yeah.
listening there, or your local radio station. You get used to those personalities, right? And you really didn't know what those personalities look like unless they did some type of promotional
Agreed.
material or some
Agreed.
type of live event. And so, but you fell in love with their personality and what they brought to the platform. That's what I wanted to do with podcasting.
Mhm.
So now podcasting seems to be more of a visual thing, and that's okay. There's a place for that too, because I personally listen to podcasts on YouTube too, but I don't usually watch them. I just listen. I prefer
Right.
to just hear the audio. So there's a place for it all. But I, like you, know that podcasting is attached to a RSS feed traditionally, right? But like television and radio, all things evolve. And so it's
Correct.
just evolving now to include different things. But at the heart of heart, I believe podcasting includes the RSS feed. And I believe it's a way for people to express,
Mhm.
to build community, to have representation, to for all of those things, and to impact culture, create culture. Podcasting
Mhm.
does so much. It empowers people. It empowers me. I found my passion when I started doing podcasting. I didn't know that I would love doing this, but I do. And so it provides that for people too, and provides them a purpose for doing things. So podcasting can be whatever you want it to
Oh,
be for you.
come on.
So that's the way I look at podcasting.
Oh, you just you did that last little phrase, obviously, because you could tell us. Just hit it for me, because Walt and I were talking. Walt and I met in this podcast group
Mhm.
last year, and we just connected. And one of the things I think that Walt and I both kind of realized a little bit at the same time, and sometimes you don't. It's there in front of you. You should be already think about it. And that someone said to us, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but they said, your podcast, it's yours. Like,
Mm.
this is literally like yours. There's no one, right? Unless you're saying some craziness, that could take this away from you. You can make your podcast about whatever it is that you want to make it. And intuitively you understand that, right, when you kind of get into it. But when you realize that the level of freedom that I think feels that comes with that, sometimes over time you don't think about it, but man, that level of freedom that you have, because this is yours and you can kind of create it. It's not about, I got away from the whole download thing for a while ago. Download numbers are the download numbers. It is what it is. But for me, it's about the audience and what I'm putting out there, and are they resonating with it? What are your thoughts about when you heard, or you hear what Scorpion talks about at the tail end of that, about the podcast is you can make it whatever you want to make it.
Yeah, it's actually funny. That brought up a memory of my sibling, because I was considering changing the name of the podcast. And I was like stressing, like, okay, if I change it, will it make sense? How are these people going to react? How is this going to react? And I was asking what they thought, and they're like, nobody cares. And like, I love that, because I think it fits in with all of this. Like, podcasting gives you the freedom to create. It is yours, and you could change your mind. You could switch it up. You can move in a direction that you feel matches you and what you want to express. And at the end of the day, it's just your job to kind of communicate that to an audience if you have that there. But I think podcasting is like really special. It's a real journey. So I think even when you do kind
Mm.
of change course, your audience will kind of respect that, especially if you lead with authenticity, because authenticity has no competition.
My man.
Um,
My man. I didn't
but
pay you to say that. I didn't pay you to say
yeah,
that either.
yeah, but the invoice is coming. But but yeah, I think when your audience, when you really do have that relationship with your audience, they're like here for the changes, the ups and downs, because it's this whole journey that you're going with together. So like when I think about what is a podcast, it's like, for me, I look at it as technically it's all content.
Mm,
So I look at it as audio and video, but at the end of the day, it's really just an experience. It's like this intimate relationship that you have back and forth with your audience that, like,
mm-hmm.
TV you can't really get because it is just one way. Radio, I think radio you can have some type of relationship, but it's not the same as podcast, because like people are choosing to listen to you not at a particular time, but on their drive home while they're
Yeah.
cooking, doing yard work, sitting and just staring at a wall, maybe, I don't know, but they're with you on this journey. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of freeing, I guess.
I think I'm not of this age, but I remember seeing movies, and I think I came in the tail end of this. But on the radio there were certain shows that would just come on, and like on a Sunday night, and like the whole family would like gather around the radio. My oldest brother Stan, he told me about those days, and like him and my sisters and stuff like that. They would just like on Sunday night or Friday night, they would just sit around and listen to like a radio program, and there's no video, there was nothing. It was just the audio, whatever the story was that person had to tell. That's exactly what they did. They sat around and anticipated whatever that story could be. And I think about that in the same way. I was just listening to one of my favorite podcasts, and I'm going to ask you guys this too shortly. One of my favorite podcasts is 20,000 Hertz. And Dallas, I can't remember Dallas's last name, but they talk about sound, like, and it's all about sound, whatever different sounds, jingles, music, like all these different pieces of sound. And it's super well produced because they got a lot of money. You know how that goes. But when I think about the podcast thing, I think about like when I listen to that podcast, I feel like almost like a little kid sitting around the radio, and I anticipate the release of that. And I set the mood, and it's crazy. I don't know if you guys do this, probably not. Maybe you guys do it, but for certain podcasts, like for 20,000 Hertz, I set the mood. I'm like in my office, not doing anything else, and I just listen to it. Podland or Pod News or whatever, I listen to that in the car. There's other podcasts that you have a different vibe for each podcast potentially that you listen to and how you listen to it. And I think that's the cool thing about podcasting, is that I think our listeners, the audience, they consume it differently based on who they are and how they want to consume it. I mean, more so than almost any other, maybe YouTube. I don't think YouTube. YouTube is a little bit different, but I just think podcasting is unique in that context. Am I wrong in my thought process, or what do you guys think?
I think it's like people get to choose how they want to listen to it. So I think it's like that factors, like it, like with radio, you have to listen into, well, now with apps it's different, but you have to catch it a certain way. YouTube, you have to like watch it, but with podcasts, you really do get to like making your own own experience and kind of have this whole like tradition along with it, like you were saying. So I don't think you're wrong there. I think it's something special about that audio.
Yeah. Scorpio?
Yeah, I agree with both what you and Walt said. For me, my personal experience with podcast is that I tend to listen to podcasts based upon my mood too. If I'm working on something, that depends on what type of podcast that I need to listen to. If I'm working on something that's something tedious for me that I really don't want to do, I need a podcast that's kind of getting me pumped up to do some stuff and encouraging and motivational, right?
Right.
If I'm trying to calm down and de-stress on something, I need something that's more in line with that. So depending on what mood I'm in or what I'm doing, that determines what podcast I'm going to listen to. So I absolutely agree. It's an audio experience.
Yeah.
That's the beauty in
Yes.
audio. podcasting is part of that. Much like music, you listen to the music according to your mood if you want to set a mood. Podcasting does the same thing for me.
Oh man, where is it? I'm looking for it.
There we go.
There it is.
I get the cheers.
Yeah, man. You get the applause, man. And because you took the words right out of my mouth, like, music. If I'm on a walk in the morning, like, also like podcasts. Like, there's certain podcasts that I will wait and listen to because they're probably a little longer than other ones. And so I'm like, okay, if I know I'm gonna walk for like an hour, I'll listen to that. I'll hold off. Like, I don't know. There's another one, The Bugle, British podcast or whatever that I listen to and I like, and they're pretty long. So sometimes I'll just hold off and wait on that one, and
savor that special time.
And just wait. That's my like early Sunday morning or something like that. I get up super early and I'll like go for a walk or whatever, and I'll listen to that. And it helps me. Also, it's thinking. The other thing, and I think you guys probably do this too. Maybe you guys don't. Let me know. Is that when I listen to a podcast, there's also pieces of it that I'm listening to, and I think about like, man, I love how this one is produced, or I like that little piece that they did there, and I like how they did that. Maybe that's actually really cool. So, and so I'm listening for enjoyment, but I'm also listening to educate myself to potentially add maybe some bits and pieces to kind of my production. Do you guys find yourself doing that or anything like that?
I have absolutely done that. One of the things that I can think that I gathered most from other podcasts was sound, right?
Yes.
How crisp sound was. I was like, and I could not figure it out for the life of me. I was like, this darn Yeti isn't working for me like that, right? This snowball isn't working for me like that. My Amazon specials aren't working for me like that.
Your Amazon basic mics.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out, but I heard something on those podcasts that I was like, I want to sound like that. If not the exact same, close to. I wanted that crispness, and I wanted people to be able to hear me and tell that I'm serious about what I'm doing, right? And so I had to figure it out. And so
I love you, Scorpion, already. I already love you already. You're speaking my language. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you listen to podcasts, not even necessarily. I say inspiration is better than copying, right?
Yes.
That's one of my sayings. Inspiration is better than copying. And so you can listen to other podcasts to get inspired to do things, talk about things,
Agreed.
Find out new concepts, ideas, strategies, what have you. And you can apply that to your own podcast without copying. And so I don't want people to be afraid to do that, to be inspired by other people. I think sometimes people are afraid to say they were inspired by other people because they think it makes them seem less than or something. And it's like, no, we're all inspired by others. That's just the nature of it. We're humans. We're meant to inspire, encourage, and make connections. That's just part of it. And the same applies in the podcasting space. So what knows for me, like I'll hear something or I like it. I like that. Ooh. How can I make that my own? Like, and there's this book, and I was actually I was just talking about it last night. It's actually in the 3-part series. I still got the books here because I was talking about them last night on the show. And it's called
Yo, I need to get that.
And this one, I mean, I started with this one, and this is not a book show, but I like sharing stuff that has helped me, and this one has actually been really cool too. Like show your work. It's all obviously you can tell it's all the same artist, author, as well, but he speaks to exactly what you're talking about, Scorpion, in the context of being able to appreciate the brushstrokes of James Cridland, and being able to say, okay, well, I know I'm not going to be able to sound like James Critland, but I can appreciate the level of production that takes place with him, or Radio Lab, or whatever those. They have teams. They have 12 people, person teams. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I still want to be able to have that sound as well. So, all right. So now we got to get into audio, man, because you got me going that because you got me going down there, and Walt and I we so there's this I use Ecamm for all of my live stream stuff, and we have this phrase in Ecamm, and it's called gas, and everybody's like, what is gas? It's called gear acquisition syndrome. Basically, you see somebody with like a new mic or a new camera, and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get that, and it doesn't even fit your use case, but you end up getting it because that's what everybody else did. And I did this, and one night, like I said, we go back a little bit. Did the same thing in podcasting, right? I mean, Rodecaster Pro, and my first. I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to save it because I really want to know this, because I think it's actually going to be pretty cool. What was your first like piece of equipment and mic, right? Headphones and audio. Like, what did you do like initially to go ahead and like, get started? Well, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, my first piece of equipment that I bought. Actually, I think the first piece of equipment I actually can't speak to this because my very first interview, I didn't really know what I was doing, didn't know how I wanted it to be, but I had a phone. So like, all right, I'm just going to record with that. And I got this mic from Amazon. It cost like $20. It was made in China. It's shipped from China, all that stuff. And I had a TJ Maxx phone mount stand. And that's why I pulled up to the interview.
You were very specific by saying the TJ Maxx.
I got it, I got a shadow. They helped me get started. I'm expecting some sponsorship soon. Dude. But yeah, no, it was like just to speak to like how like I did not get some like high quality stuff. It was just like, okay, I see that looks cool. Let me get that. Let me get that. So that was the first thing, and those held me through like the first 2 interviews, and I got this other thing from TJ Maxx. It was like an iPad stand because I won an iPad at this conference, and then like it was all very cheap stuff, but I just jerry rigged it all together and had my mobile podcast studio.
That's funny, man.
Yeah,
you do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. And where are you now? And where are you now?
Where am I now? Now I just added some lighting up here, like an actual like camera light or video light, whatever it is. I got gas, but I don't know what I got for real. I got a Rodecaster that's caused me issues every now and then, but I love it. It's really dope.
Here you go.
Yep. And I got my Audio Technica ATX something mic, and this mic boom arm thing, actually a gift from Steve. It's coming real handy because the other one broke. And I got a few more toys that I'm actually getting ready to put together, but I'm not going to mention them yet because I haven't used them just yet. But it really takes a lot of discipline, not just to buy everything you see. And I actually had to hop off, but I'm looking forward to catching like the rest of this on the replay and everything.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Do your thing. Yeah. Do your thing. If Scorpion doesn't have to hop off, that's fine, and we'll hold it down.
Bet. All right, talk to y'all later. Scorpion, glad you made it. And happy International Podcast Day, everyone. Start your podcast, show love to your podcast, all that stuff. I'm out.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Scorpion, walk me through your beginning phases to kind of where you are now.
Oh, wow. Similar to Walt's, except for I actually had a laptop. I didn't use my phone, but and not much has changed for me, to be really honest. I've been really intentional about not over investing, or not necessarily investing, but not wasting money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By not getting things that I did not need. However, I started off with an Amazon special. Okay. I started off with an Amazon special. It wasn't working for me. Then I went, I got another Amazon special. still, because remember, I'm trying to catch that sound that I
Right.
told you all about.
Right.
And so then I got $100 and something Yeti. I was like, this thing better do wonders for me. Right? No. Let me say this side note that now I understand it wasn't the microphone's fault. It was because I didn't have good technique, right? I didn't have good mic technique that I found
Right.
out later. So then I ended up getting, I got an acoustic box, right? I got I went back to the another mic, and then I purchased an acoustic, I like to call them acoustic box. They're a sound box,
Right.
that
Right.
people record in. So then I got one of those, and that started to increase my audio quality. And so now at this point, I have a dynamic mic. I have my boom stand. I think that's what you all call it. I just call it the mic stand.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
And then I have a ring light that I use occasionally when I'm doing live things or video. And that's pretty much it. I do not have a Rodecaster. I'm going to invest in one that's going to be a gift to myself after I reach a certain milestone.
There you go. That's
that
what I
I'm going to
did.
reward myself with something. And so, but yeah, I do the bare minimum. I
Yeah,
do the bare minimum and make it work the heck out of it. Do you understand?
that's right.
I make it work for me because I don't believe in wasting the money. You know what I mean? And one thing that I tell people when they're getting into podcasting or they're thinking about getting into podcasting is don't spend a lot of money. Just
Right.
make sure you get you a decent mic,
Yeah.
right? And go from there.
Here's mine.
And go from there. And so I don't believe in telling people to go out and spending money because you don't know. Because the one thing that I've learned that people think podcasting is just so easy.
Come on.
It's not.
Come on.
It's not just turning on the mic and recording. You could do that.
You're
You
right.
could do that if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do.
You're right.
But if you want to take it seriously, you're going to have to put in the work to do the research, to practice good mic technique, to prepare your voice for recording, take care of your voice. All of those things go
Agreed.
into podcasting. And so I like to tell people to start where you can and then work your way up.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think the initial piece with podcasting is around like just kind of starting where you are, but once again for me, like respecting that it is a craft. It is something like that does take technique. It does take time to kind of understand and also to kind of find your own voice, right? Because I think that's the other piece. Like the equipment is the equipment, but your voice is your voice. And I don't mean your voice like your voice. I mean like your podcasting voice. What is it that you want to say and how do you want to say it to your audience, right? And you can be consistent with that. And that only comes through practice. The equipment is just a tool. But my first mic, and I still have it. It was a Rode NT USB mic that I have right here, and it served me really well. It served me really, really well. I someone asked me to buy it, and I was like, I don't know, because I probably could, but it got me started. It got me started, and it was a decent investment because, to your point earlier, I was serious about doing this. I said, I'm going to do this. Like I want to make the investment, and I want to do this. And so this was my first my first mic. I had an iPad. I recorded directly into GarageBand on my iPad. I have videos of it and all this other stuff. And early Saturday morning, because we have 3 girls, and once they get up, I mean, they're older now, but once they get up, it goes crazy. And so I didn't have the room treated. So I bought sound blankets, and I still use my sound blankets when I record. Even though I have it treated right now, but because this is it's a condenser mic, so it picks up every freaking thing. And so I had to get up super early in the morning. I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning recording podcasts, and I still get up early and do it. But I truly I love it. And then to your point earlier around like hitting different milestones, I hit a download milestone, and I was like, I want to get a Rodecaster, and so I didn't just, my first 2 weeks, like, oh, I'm gonna get a roadcaster. It's like I don't even know I don't even know how to use this thing. Like, when I first started, like, what does this thing even mean? Like, what is Rodecaster Pro? I know Rode. I didn't even do it. And then I got gas, which is which was bad. And I bought I went and I got the big dog that everybody and their mama wanted, the Shure SM7B.
Mhm.
And I still use it to this day. Still use it. But then I got super serious about my sound quality. And I was serious already, but I was like, I really want, to your point, I think you were talking about it earlier. That's why I appreciate you coming on there, because I resonate with so many things that you said. It was like, I really wanted my sound quality to be like some of the people that I hear. And I know I don't have the producers, I don't have all of that stuff, but so I super treated the room, got me a preamp, and was using the Shure SM7B, and I really love it. And then I call myself wanting to continue this art form, this craft of podcasting. But then I told myself, and something I've been wanting to really do was I wanted to do voiceovers. And so I started researching different mics for voiceovers and all this other stuff. And I came up with this Lewitt 440, and I love how it sounds. And I think it's going to be great as I kind of embark on that voiceover career. But the voiceover piece is going to help me with podcasting. And so I try my best, to your point, of like trying to make sure, and some of this stuff I don't need, and I don't, I got that mic, and then look, and then please forgive me, Scorpion, because I got gas again, and I saw this one came out, and I said, and I got the Shure MV7, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, I want this one. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I had super duper gas. And because it was like the new and greatest. I'm glad Walt stepped off. I'm actually going to send him this mic because I'm not using it anymore. And it has XLR and USB, and I'm going to send it to him because I'm not using it anymore. I'm like, so I'm just going to go ahead and gift it to him. But what I realized too, and as you well know, we're talking about gear, but we know that at the end of the day, it's all about the story. It's all about the story you tell. How do you go about crafting? And I don't know how much time you got. I'll probably.
I got about 15, 20 minutes. I'm
good.
Good.
There we go.
About 15, 20 minutes.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Because I want to hear how you craft like your podcast, and what goes into your thought process when you sit down from concept to pre-production to recording to post-production. Because to your point earlier, people think that it's just like hit the record button and that's it. There's so much more to it than that. And I really, from an OG, I would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll consider myself an OG, because let me
3
say
years?
this.
I think 3.
Let me say this. I experienced, because my episode content does not reflect that in the sense of the number of episodes, because I experienced a lot of pod fade years prior. So that's why I say that I would necessarily consider myself OG, although I learned lessons. So I just want to put that disclaimer in there, but maybe
No worries.
Either or. Let's not go. That's another rabbit hole.
Agreed.
Okay. But it depends on which podcast that I'm working on. And I will say this, I have a really creative mind where I'm constantly thinking of stuff. I'm one of those people that I say, write everything down. Write it down. I have tons of journals and things everywhere. Tons of journals, because I'm constantly writing them down, because I'm a firm believer that fleeting thoughts will flee from you.
Ooh.
Right? So I write everything down. So that's the first thing. So I write it down. I think I'm trying to visualize it in my mind how I'm going to present it, because I have to actually be interested in it. I can't just talk
Agreed.
about something I'm not interested in,
Agreed.
right? So let's just take Smart Mouth Scorpio podcast for one, since that was my first one. That's my baby. I think of it and I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this. Oh, this would be good, right? That's the thing, right? You
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
and then I outline it. I outline it, and then I do some research. If I don't know enough about the subject matter, I do some research. So I make sure I'm presenting accurate information, as accurate as I can, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not knowledgeable in it and I feel uncomfortable presenting that, then I'll reach out to someone, let's say a counselor, if I'm talking about trauma, to come on and talk about trauma, right? And then we go from there, and then it's the editing process, and then I'm thinking about how I'm going to promote it, right?
Yeah.
So all of
Yeah.
that, it's from conception to end. I'm simplifying it, really. You know how it goes. I'm simplifying it.
Oh yeah.
But that's the process. I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking over it, thinking if I have enough wherewithal, enough depth to talk about it, right? If it makes sense to talk about, if it serves the purpose for me, the overall purpose for that podcast or that platform.
Right.
And then I go from there. So it has to make sense to me, and I have to be able to logically justify covering this subject matter on there.
Correct.
If not, I'll just give the idea to somebody else that has a podcast that may be good for.
Yeah.
I don't hoard the ideas, because if I'm not going to use it and I know somebody else can do it well, like I have a friend that has a podcast friend that has a relationship podcast talking to Black couples, right? I give him ideas all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
you should do this. You should do that. This would be
Yeah.
awesome. I have a relationship podcast. I could truly use those ideas on my podcast too, if I wanted to turn it that way.
Right.
But I'm like, no, it better fits your platform. So I don't hoard the ideas. But yeah, it's a whole process up in there. It's not just getting on the mic, turning it on, recording for me. It's the whole thing. It has to make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. The computer has to pew. Do you understand? It has to pew.
Agree. And I'm so happy you said that, because Walt and myself, and then I have before we go, I do want to say this, because I want to invite you back, because I wanted to do I wanted to do this podcaster kind of roundtable, and I wanted you and Walt, and then I have two good friends that are podcasters over in the UK that I probably talk with every 2 weeks, and we get on the Zoom call, and the Zoom call is supposed to be a half an hour, and next thing you know, we're going 2 hours. And I wanted to get on the Zoom call and do something very similar to what we're doing. So I do want to invite you back, because I love everything you're saying. I appreciate your persona and your thought process. I truly dig it. So I just appreciate that. One of the things that I think a lot of people fail to realize, that what gives, to your point around this, about sharing ideas, there is competition within podcasting, but then there's really not, in the context that I've been in business all my life, and a lot of business people are just super cutthroat, and they don't want to give you anything. They won't give you any of their best secrets. They don't want to give you any tips, the tricks, the techniques, any of that stuff. Not so with podcasting, at least from my experience, that people have been extremely, availing with their ideas and content and feedback. And that I don't know, maybe it's just me, because I think I can spot the people that I don't want to connect with really quickly. Probably you're probably similar. And but I think the feedback that I've always been able to receive has been poignant. It's been exactly what I needed to hear, and it's been very freeing, because it's been an industry, because I'm going to call it an industry, where people want to succeed, but they also want to see other people succeed as well. Has that been your experience?
Yes, I have built a tribe, a community of people, and then I have my tribe, right?
Yeah.
Walter is a part of my tribe. And so I've built a tribe where we feed into each other.
Great.
We're each other's confidant as it relates to podcasting. Like, well, for example, I don't think he'll mind me sharing this, but Walter and I have a weekly accountability call. We hold each other accountable in that way. So I think it's important to have an overall community of folks, right, that you can fellowship with.
Agreed.
And then within that community, have your tribe. That's intentional for me, because you need that, and you need people to bounce ideas off of, to hold you accountable, to be like, that wasn't so great, maybe try it this way.
Yes.
That honesty there. So my overall experience has been great over the last year. For me, has been really great. And I build community in other places too. I think I even encountered you on Clubhouse once, and so I'm on Clubhouse building community too. We host rooms to share information there. That's intentional, because I believe what you put out in the world, in the universe, it comes back. It's gonna circle back. 100%. And as strong as you put it out, it's stronger. It's gonna gain velocity, and it's gonna come back even harder to reward you. And so so that's the way I'm approaching this thing. There is space. There is no hoarding of blessings. You can't hoard blessings. So why not share them? You can't hoard them.
Dude, you just messed me up. You just
sorry.
No, man. Like, oh man. You just messed me up with that one. I mean, in a positive way.
Okay.
Like, in a positive way. Seriously. Like, could you say that again? You said it.
There's no hoarding of the blessings. There's no hoarding of blessings.
Man, just jacked me up with that one, man. That was a word for me. Woo! And I think for you
don't have the praise break music, so you can get your little praise music. You need to put that on the roadcaster.
Get that one. I'm gonna get that as soon as we finish. I am gonna get that one. Oh my gosh, because that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect. Like, I got a little towel. I got my little towel over here and everything. Woo! There is. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna cut that little piece out and make sure I send that to you, because that's like I said earlier, I told Walt, I was like, man, I'm good. I'm good. I think I'm just gonna record. I had an outline and everything ready for my podcast that I was gonna record. He said, let's just jump on for 15 minutes. And I was like, all right, fine. Here it is. An hour and a half later, man. And I mean, we've our first conversation. And I just say Walter, says he's the thread between us two. And I think our first conversation was like 2 hours, like on a Zoom call. We were just chatting about stuff, and I was just. He was telling me about his dad and everything, and then it was just I'm former Air Force. I think his dad was Air Force as well too, something along those lines. And I don't know, I just met the dude, and I was telling him, I said, man, your dad has to be super proud of you. Your dad, like, and I am a dad of all girls, and so I said, I don't even know, I think it was like our second or third conversation we had, and I said, here's the thing, dude, I'm a dad of all girls. You're the type of dude that I would like my daughters to marry. Like, you have something about you that, for me, and my oldest daughter, she's married, and John, I'm not talking about you. You're great. I love you. I'm just saying. But Walt has
clean that up.
Yeah. John, I love you, man. I love you. I'm not going to see them in a couple of weeks. Actually, they'll go down there, and they live in Tampa. I'm going to hang out with them and my grandson in a little bit. But he has that, I don't even know if I can't even pronounce it correctly in French, that je ne sais quoi, right? That
You're good.
Like this. All right, good. He just has it. He's such a good dude, and he holds me accountable as well to making sure that I'm focused, and sometimes he can't help me with my gas, because I do get the gas gear acquisition syndrome. He's like, really, dude? I'm like, I know I didn't need it, but I'm gonna use it for a little bit, and then I'll either sell it or whatever the case may be. Scorpion, I want to thank you so much. We, I want to do this. I think podcasters have, just like retail leaders, and I'm not trying to make this about the retail leaders, anything like that, and not at all. But I always felt like retail leaders are underappreciated thought process when it comes to retail, when it comes to leadership. They are always kind of like, it's just retail, and we have so much to offer. I firmly believe that podcasters, and we have so much to offer ourselves, but I think we also have more to offer our communities at large than we give ourselves credit for, and not just through our podcasting, but I think through forums and discussions like this, where people can truly understand our zeal behind podcasting, and more importantly, like how it's helping us discover more about ourselves along this journey, that other people can hear if they listen to our podcast, or if they're interested in podcasting themselves, they can go ahead and try it themselves. And so I think about podcasting as almost like is very therapeutic, and maybe you share that thought process. And I think other people will find it that way. And I want to be able to open up the idea that other people can podcast, but also understand that this is a craft as well too. Any closing thoughts around this International Podcast Day? Is there anything that's coming up for you? Also, where people can find you? I'm going to ask you to send me your information so that I can make sure that in the links below, everybody has all your information as well.
I didn't know anything about International Podcast Day until a couple of weeks ago. Someone was in a room with me and he shared that he reached out to me and said, "Do you want to do something for International Podcasters Day?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do something. Absolutely." Right. And I did this morning. I actually did it. It was fun. And I felt so grateful to be included in something, right?
Yeah.
To be able to have a voice in something that is celebrated internationally, right?
Yes.
I'm a part of that.
Yes.
I'm a part of that. No matter how small of a piece, I'm a part of something that's so grand. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
And that's amazing to be a part of history. This is still growing. Podcasting is still growing. It's still a baby.
Yes.
Do you understand? So to be a part of something in its infant stages still, and to be able to say you were a founder in something, and to be able to celebrate it, bring awareness to it, and to be able to do something that you're passionate about and love to do. Can you beat it? You
Come
can't
on, man.
beat it.
You
can't beat it. So I encourage people that are trying to discover things about themselves, or want to share information, or just want to be part of a community. Try it. Don't knock it until you try it. There's space for all of you. There's space for all of you, all of us there. I tell people this. Yes, we are similar to other people because we're humans, right?
Correct.
But there's only one you, uniquely packaged like you, with your same exact thoughts, feelings, perspective, experiences, all of that in one package. So there, you were created for a reason. So you have something special to bring. You have something special. So yeah, do the podcast. I love podcasting because then anybody can do it.
Yes.
You don't have to get a meeting at a network, right?
No.
You don't have to give your CD or your file to a DJ to play.
Yeah, your demo.
Right. You don't have to do that.
Not
you don't
at
have
all.
to do any of that. And you could do it for free.
Yes, come on.
Right? No, you don't need to pay anything. There's a way that you don't have to pay anything to podcast. Check on it.
Come on.
Check on it. Get into it, as they say. Get into it.
Walt had one of our Where the Retail You shirts on tonight, and authenticity has no competition, and we talk about that so much with like our coaching clients, and because one of the things I say is that the more you know yourself, the more you can say no. You know, because the tendency is that as leaders, or even as podcasters, sometimes like a topic or a concept will come across our table. We're like, "Ooh, I like that one. Ooh, that's great. That's a great one. Ooh, I just heard so and so do that," but that doesn't fit into who you are and your message and maybe the pillars of who you are. And so I would often say too is that if you're thinking about podcasting, it is a journey. And that over time you will develop your voice, but you got to listen, right? Not just to Scorpion and Walter and whoever else, but you got to listen to yourself. You got to listen to what it is that you're putting out there, and making sure that it is truly you. It's not anybody else. Because I think that's the one thing about podcasting that I appreciate the most, of why I listen to probably 10, maybe 15 different podcasts a week, which is, I know that's for most podcasters, I think that's even on the lighter side. Is that every one of those podcasts that I listen to have their own unique voice, and they're not trying to be something that they're not. And so on this International Podcast Day, I just ask you to truly be your authentic self, whether it is that you want to think about podcasting or you're not, or you just want to go down whatever road that you want to go down. I just want you, and I think Scorpion would agree with this as well, is that we just want you to be your authentic self, find your voice, and listen to as many different podcasts as you can. We're going to have a link for, of course, our podcast and Walter's podcast, but we also want you to listen to as many different podcasts as you possibly can, because that way you'll know exactly that the medium is here to stay, and that there's something out there for each and every one of you as well. Scorpion, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hang up, but on the back end, I just want to thank you again. But everybody, thank you guys for listening live or in a replay. If you have any comments or anything, please go ahead and put it in the comment section. If you have any questions, we will be looking at this to make sure we answer any and every question that you have. But as I always say, have a great night and God bless.